Hello fellow disguises, my name is VideoJames, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Transformers Age of Extinction High Octane 1964 Camaro Bumblebee. Yes, that was a long title and kind of hard to say. So, this is actually one of my favorite Bumblebees to come out of the Age of Extinction set, mainly because it was one of the best Bumblebees, if not the best Bumblebees, to come out of the Age of Extinction set, and it is actually a very good figure for that reason. So, getting right into the look of the figure, we see right off the bat that we got these clear translucent windows, which I kind of like because they're kind of tended to be that darker color. I honestly don't really think I would have preferred these ones to be blue, because they actually look kind of fine as they are. I mean, blue would have made them more realistic, but I kind of like the color they used here for this one with this kind of color scheme going on. We see on the front, we got these little yellow stripes that with this Bumblebee, instead of having yellow and black, he swapped his colors to be black and yellow. So we see on the front we have these nice stripes painted on here. Really good attention to detail on these, that the stripes don't really overlap in any areas of paint. You can see on the side they kind of continue down and kind of curl over. And we got that little SS thing right there. And then we see on the sides we got these tires here. I kind of wish they'd used the gunmetal paint that they used for a lot of the other figures that they use on these tires. I kind of wish they'd done that to kind of give them a more realistic look instead of just making them all black. But it does have that all black paint, so, you know, I kind of wish they'd used the gunmetal, but, you know, whatever. We can kind of see down here by the door, they got like a little almost exhaust pipe detail kind of sculpted in. We see on the side right here, we got an Autobot logo. Then we see on the back that we got basically just the tail fin. Now, the tail fin isn't the same yellow as the front. As you can see, it's kind of like a darker yellow. And it's kind of odd looking at it, but it is still kind of different, and that makes it a little annoying because they got the bright yellow up at the front, and then they got this darker yellow clear back in here. But regardless, we see on the back we also have the two tail lights, not painted. I kind of wish they were. And then we got this little bumper part right here. And then on this side, pretty much just the same thing. Again, no gunmetal painting. We got that little pipe detailing right here. We also got the mirror. I forgot to mention that. Now, this scratch right here, I don't think this comes with the figure. I think mine just got like a little chip in it. And then on top, you kind of see the top. You can almost see a little bit of Bumblebee's kind of body on the inside through the windows. So yeah, I'd say this is a pretty decently sized figure. Looking at the size, I'd say it's about probably 5 inches, 4.9 inches, somewhere around that range. And then we see it's also only about 1.25 inches tall. So it's not exactly that tall of a Bumblebee. And then here we have it next to the Transformers 1974 Camaro. Now you can kind of see there's that size difference, that when we look at them like this, you can see that there actually is a significant difference in size. Here he is next to the 2017 concept Bumblebee. Now, it is actually about the same size on these ones, roughly. They're actually almost the exact same size, but the 2017, it's a little hard to tell because of the fenders and all that, but the 2017 actually is a small bit bigger. Transformers Highway Battle Optimus Prime. Now, getting into the transformation of this figure, it actually is very simple. Basically, the first thing you want to do is you want to take the hood and you kind of want to push it down a small bit, so that you can kind of see these little tabs come undone, that when you push this hood up, there's these two little tabs right there, so you push that up and it clicks into place. So you want to push this down so those are revealed, and then what you do is you take the wheels on the side, you kind of pull them out, and you flip them out so they're kind of perpendicular to the body of the car, and then you do the same thing on the other side. You got to keep this down, otherwise it's going to try and hold these in place, and that's going to mess up with the tabs. So then you move on to the doors. You basically take the doors, and what I like to do is I like to push in from this spot where my thumb is, where my right thumb is. I like to push in from this spot and pull out from the fender, because that seems to be just a little easier to do. So you basically do that and then flip the door out to where it's pushed up against the tire. Do the same thing for the other side, kind of push down and pull out. Now, this does peg in when you're transforming it back to vehicle mode, so it's very nice. So, like, you'll see right here, there's a little peg next to the leg, so we just kind of push this in and it pegs like that, and it just kind of gets stuck in there, so it doesn't really like flip around everywhere. And it is a little bit too much peggage, I'd have to say. But, you know, it's kind of just there to make sure the door doesn't go flying around everywhere. And the next thing you want to actually do is you want to take the feet and you want to kind of pull them like this so that they're, well, no, you can't do that yet. And the next thing you want to do is basically want to pull this up and kind of get it to where it's like that, because there will be this little tab in the back that kind of keeps this underneath the back of the car. So you kind of want to pull this up almost and get it to go like that, so that then the feet are actually kind of revealed. And then you kind of just push this forward a little bit more, and then you can just take the back of the car, you can push it up, and you should be able to just get it to wiggle up there and get it to go like that. So now you got that ready, and then basically what you do is you take the feet, you straighten them out like this. And one thing about this figure is, instead of the typical ball joint kind of revolving system, they moved more towards a gear system with this one. So it's kind of more gear based, but you kind of want to get the feet to where they're like that, to where they're almost above the hood of the car. And then what you can do is you can take the arms, you can't really see that. You take the arms and you flip them down like this, that you kind of just want to pull them away from the bottom of the car and just kind of separate them as you're going, because there's a little tab here that keeps these together. Now, this doesn't come untabbed from this side, so you kind of want to be careful. Unfortunately, I wish it did come untabbed for stuff like in the robot mode, but it unfortunately doesn't. I've seen dozens of people try. So you basically want to get the arms like that, and then what you do is you rotate these parts like this to where the arm guards are out front. Now, if the arm guards kind of come undone, they can be snapped back on, so I wouldn't really worry too much about them. They kind of just snap back on. I know I've had to snap them on a few times. And then basically what you do is you basically just flip the arms like this almost, and then as you're doing that, you kind of want to turn the arm to where it's like this, to where the inside of the arm is actually facing outward. And then you kind of want to turn it like that until you can see that facing downward. And then do the same thing over here, rotate it, and then flip it downward. And then you actually are able to flip the cab of the Bumblebee all the way down. So you kind of just do that and flip it down so that your Bumblebee is like that. Now, then the next thing you want to do is basically just want to take these and flip them down like this. Now, they do kind of just flip down nice and easy, but you got to kind of turn the gear a little bit to actually be able to get the arm to fit into place properly. There we go. Also, you're going to have to be a little rough with this figure because it is gear-based, like I said. And then what you do is you take the back of the car, you kind of just flip it up. Now, you are going to have to kind of finagle it to get it to go around the back of the car, just so that it'll actually fit around the back of the car. And then, basically, what you do is, you don't have to worry about, if you're following the instructions letter by letter, you don't have to worry about these flipping out, because they usually flip out when I transform them into robot mode. So you basically don't have to worry about anything, because they'll do it anyway. And then basically what you do is you unpeg the front of the car, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to kind of push these pegs. You can kind of see that there's little pegs underneath the two mid ends of the car. You kind of want to push those down into this little hole, this little square hole. And it does take a bit of effort, so it's going to take quite a good amount of force to actually get them to go in. I know for me it takes a good amount of force to actually get them to go in, because they don't really want to all the time. But after a while, it'll seem like second nature, so you kind of just take these and push them down in there like that, and you'll hear a little click once they're in. Well, not like a click, like a kind of pop figure sound. And then you just flip these down, and you kind of flip the arms out front and turn them around. And then basically what you do with the feet is you take these, you unpeg them like that. Now, there's an extra step that I added that the instruction book doesn't have, because I feel like it just looks a lot nicer. So basically the way these feet come out is basically you have to pull this up at the same time as you're pulling this down, because as you're pulling the foot down, this part will keep this in place. So you kind of want to pull this up and pull this down. And then you see the foot's like that, so now the locker for the back is out of place. And then you just turn the foot like that, and it locks into that spot. Now, what I like to do, because the instruction book recommends that you have the back of the leg like that, I don't like that. So what I like to do is I kind of just like to flip this down, because it honestly just looks nicer in my opinion, and it doesn't make his ankles and all that look as skinny. And then do the same thing on the other side, basically just pull this down. Now, mine actually does have a little resistance on the foot, but yours might not. I've asked some people, and theirs haven't had that much resistance on the foot. So basically, it's kind of just user-oriented. Basically, if you got resistance, it's probably just you. The 1967 Bumblebee completely transformed. So you see right away, like I said, it does keep its predominant yellow color. But otherwise, you can see the figure is actually nicely detailed, and it does look like a very cohesive figure. I really like how they did the arm guards. The arm guards actually look very nice. I kind of wish they were a little bit more scrutinous on making bigger arms, because the arms kind of look really small. We see on the ankles also that they're really small too. They're like extremely thin to the point where they're almost paper. But overall, the design looks nice enough. I like the way the door and the wheels kind of go back. I don't really like this spinal thing that comes out of the inside of Bumblebee. So you can see, like, this area, which is actually storage for the missile, it kind of makes it look like Bumblebee's head's getting ripped out of his body with his spine. So, like, it's like pulling the spine and head out like a ball and chain, and I don't really like that. But as you can see, we got these little pistons down here. We got the traditional mid-guard kind of area. We got the license plate. Unfortunately, not painted. Sad, but, you know, whatever. We also have the cannon on the side, like I said. Now, again, when you want to fire this one, it isn't a button activated or a, like a switch activated. It's actually a flick activated. So what you gotta do is you kind of gotta push it out like that, and then the missile will actually fire. So you can't really push a button or anything to activate it. There is also a slight curve on the missile that it may not seem like it, but there's like a little curve, and it kind of bends more like that way, that it kind of bends inward almost. But overall, it's not that bad. I kind of wish they haven't given Bumblebee a giant missile, because, I mean, they got it right with Stinger almost, or, well, not with Stinger, but with Bumblebee's Stinger body that they gave him. That when they gave Bumblebee that body, they actually gave him the little cannon in the arm, but for this one, they gave him the big giant missile, which not only do I not like, I don't really feel like is a good idea, because we never see Bumblebee in this form using any actual weapons, so we don't really know if he's got a new weapon or an old one. So making this kind of gun leaves a little bit of detailing to be looked into. We see once again we get the gunmetal painting on the face, which I very much like. There is light piping on the back of the head that I really don't understand, because I mean, they painted the eyes, so why would there be light piping back there? I don't get it. And we see on the side that we can see a little bit more of the legs. We can actually see like these little pistons, and we can see a bit of gears down here. Well, if you could get past the missile, there we go. But you can see like a little bit of gears going down in here. You can see kind of that detailing going on in there, which I think is very nice. They did do a really nice detailing job of the lower leg, technically, because that's technically the lower leg. We see these back here, which again, I like having them down there just because having them put up like this just looks ridiculous. I mean, why would you have them like that? No. Then we see in the back, we do get a bit of back package, but overall, not that bad, because it kind of just collapses into his body almost. It should actually be like that. Sorry, I think it came undone. But it should actually be like that, and it kind of just collapses into his body. So overall, not that bad. We see some very nice detailing on the doors, that we actually get a decent bit of detailing, like we have the little side compartments that we see on doors and cars today. We see we got these little things. I have no clue what these are, but they got a nice texture to them. And they're a nice detail. I still want to know what they are, though, because I haven't been able to figure out what they are. If someone knows, let me know down in the comments. But, and then we can see the windows. Well, now we can see the windows. Kind of got that color going to them. So they do look nice in the robot mode as well. We can see the window back here as well, and the windshield actually does look nice as well. And then on this side, basically the same as the other side, not much special, except for the missing cannon. And that's basically it for this Bumblebee. Now, giving the figure a size, it does actually stand at about, I'd say, 5.5 inches or 5 3/4 inches. And it's only really about, not counting the little bumper things, it's only really about 4 inches across. So it's not really that bulky, but it's also not too small. 1967 Bumblebee, my apologies, next to the 1974 Bumblebee and the 2016 concept Bumblebee. So we see that it actually is the second tallest out of them, with the 1974 being the actual tallest. By the way, yes, I do know that got a release that was like another version of the 2016 Bumblebee over here, but I'm not going to buy that for a lot of reasons. One, it kind of just looks like a rebody of the Bumblebee from 2016 concept, and it is basically the same with all the same features and all that, except different body. And I kind of like the original better just because it has that kind of scoring like it's actually old. It has those little black splotches all over it, like it's actually seen some time. But yeah, overall we see that the Bumblebees typically have about a similar amount of black paint going on with them. That this one has kind of got the yellow paint distributed around the chest, arms, bottom of the legs, and doors. And then this one's kind of got it painted all on the insides and most of the legs, the midguard and the arm plates and the feet. And then this one's basically got the yellow on the outside and then the black painted on the inside. So that's very nice. I do kind of wish they'd put some of the detail they did into this one into that one. Because with this one, we got the license plate painted. We got the midsection painted a different color. So I kind of wish they painted like this area. I kind of wish they painted around the license plate black like they did on this one. They could have kept this little fuel cap right here black. Or, not black, yellow. But I kind of wish they'd just done a little more black paint on this one. Transformers Age of Extinction Voyager class, or no, that's a leader class. Leader class Grimlock. Now, you can see, again, he gets absolutely dwarfed, and he gets absolutely dwarfed. There's nothing I can say. Grimlock absolutely tops him, but we can see the cutout off on Grimlock is about right on the claw, that his claw is basically where Bumblebee ends. So you can see Bumblebee, in comparison to Grimlock, is actually a decent size. He's actually the kind of size I expected Optimus to be compared to Grimlock, but instead it's Bumblebee. Next to the Transformers The Last Night premiere, no, it wasn't premiere, I forget the name of this one. What was it? The, leader class Megatron. There we go. My mind was blanking out for a minute. But we can see that Megatron absolutely tops him. I had to move the Kindle just to be able to get the full size, and Megatron dwarfs him. But not counting the cannon, Bumblebee honestly only comes up to about Megatron's waist, which is very tiny, so it kind of really sells the fact that Bumblebee is a lot shorter than Megatron. I would definitely give this figure at least a 3.5 out of 5. We do get very nice articulation even with the gears, that we actually do get a decent bit of rotation on both the arms and the legs. Again, I do like the black paint and the yellow paint kind of being reversed for this one, that they actually did a good job of it. I kind of wish they'd used a bit more black paint kind of around this area and on the legs. And I do kind of wish they'd made like the ankles not so skinny to where they weren't almost like basically nothing. I do kind of wish they'd made this just like a little, maybe even a smaller version of a missile. I'd even be fine with that, but not something like this, because this is just huge. This is too big. Again, I really do like the gunmetal paint on Bumblebee's face, because it gives it that kind of cool metallic look to it, and I actually really like it. I kind of wish they used it for the other areas of the body as well. That I kind of wish they'd used it for maybe the arms, like they did on this Bumblebee, where they have the silver paint here that they used on the face. Maybe if they'd done that. But overall, I still really like the figure. The detailing is very nice, especially around the face and the cab of the car. It is actually very well detailed. Again, the articulation is nice. The size is actually very reasonable for a Bumblebee. And I actually really like this figure a lot. So regardless, for now I'm going to leave this video here. I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys to go check out this Bumblebee if you want to get it yourselves. And if you guys did like this video, you can slap the like button as always, and I'll see all you beautiful people in the next video.